Hey guys, it's Mike, and you're watching That's Cool Vintage Collectibles. Today on the show, we're going to talk about the storied franchise that is the Montreal Canadiens. Stay tuned. During the pandemic, I rediscovered my enjoyment of collecting sports memorabilia. I started to get into some newer stuff, as well as find stuff I'd collected from a long time ago and stuck away and just didn't think anything of. And I sort of unearthed this stuff and was really fascinated by a lot of it and got right back into it. So it was very exciting to kind of explore another type of collectible for me, and I thought I'd share with you guys today some of the items that I discovered during that time, as well as talk about one of the most storied franchises in the history of the National Hockey League, and that being the Montreal Canadiens. And where I grew up, you had a couple of options. You were either going to cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs or anybody else except Montreal. And it was kind of interesting seeing as kids, even young kids would get such abuse for cheering for teams besides Toronto in our area. I know, I was a Detroit Red Wing fan, but the Montreal fans had it especially rough, and they were certainly given no quarter, no matter their age or anything. It's a tough thing. But for me, the Canadiens are one of the ultimate franchises in sports history. They have such a legendary past, and they're very good at celebrating their history and respecting it and teaching it to younger generations. And I had the chance to go to Montreal in the early 2000s and see a game, and I saw another one as well in around 2008. So I'll show you some pictures from that right now. The game in Montreal is so different than the game anywhere else. It's such a passionate fan base. They're knowledgeable. And the way the Bell Center is set up in Montreal, it's like a walking museum of retired sweater numbers and pictures. And Toronto's getting better at that at the Scotiabank Arena, but it's not like Montreal. And there's even a replica dressing room there as well. It's just such a cool environment to see a game at, and the fans are really, really passionate about the game. So back in 2003, I was in Montreal and got tickets to see the Canadiens play the New York Islanders, and we had great seats right at center ice, and this was very early in the season. I think it was late October, so this might have been the fourth or fifth game of the year. And I couldn't believe how much the fans were just on the team already and demanding performance. And it was quite refreshing coming from near a city that doesn't always do that. Sorry, Leaf fans. But this fan base was so knowledgeable and passionate about the team. And if the team's not winning, they don't go. They just don't put up with it unless the effort's there. They don't mind a team that's losing if they're trying. But it's quite a fan base. And so we saw the Islanders. We had great seats right at center ice. A great night at the game. And I really had an appreciation for the environment of a hockey game in Montreal. And a few years later, I was back in Montreal and ended up getting tickets through a scalper that night, actually, to see the Leafs and Canadiens. And that was a big game because the Leafs were basically out of the playoffs. I don't think they were contending for the playoffs at that point, but the Canadiens needed to win to get a playoff berth. So the stadium was just electric, and the atmosphere was great, and the Canadiens won. And I remember walking back to the hotel, and it was just borderline riot in the streets. It was a fantastic night in Montreal. So this is some of the items Montreal related in my sports collection right now. Just a game puck. This is from the Ziegler era. I collected the game pucks from the original 6 teams. Have all of those from that era. That's pretty cool. Next up is some autographs on cards that I've gotten over the years. Of famous Montreal Canadian players. We have Bob Gainey and Guy Lafleur, one of the best ever right there. Guy Lafleur, Yvon Cournoyer, Steve Shutt, Guy Carbonneau, and the legendary Jean Beliveau. Who might be the ultimate Montreal Canadian right there. Another card I have is the iconic Patrick Roy rookie card from the 86-87 O-Pee-Chee set. And that is, to me, Patrick will always be a Canadian, even though he had so much success in Colorado and other places like that. But the, always a Montreal Canadien to me. Last two pieces I'm going to show you are my favorite two pieces, and the first is a program from the 1976 Canada Cup, and it is autographed by Jean Beliveau, which is really cool. And I love it that it's on a Team Canada piece as well, which you know, is a little different for him. So that's kind of cool. That one is a big one for my collection that I really enjoy. And I think my favorite Montreal related item is this program from the 1960-61 campaign with Jacques Plante on the cover from the old Montreal Forum. And of course, Jacques Plante, the creator of the goalie mask. Just such an iconic looking thing and piece of history. I just really think this is a neat item, and I can't remember where I got this. I've had this for a long time. I would say 35 years or something like that, and I don't really remember where I got it. I think I got it at a sports card show, but I can't remember, to be honest. And it's just an amazing item, and it's one piece in here that I truly treasure. Well, there you have it, guys. That's my small and humble Montreal Canadiens collection. I hope you enjoyed that. If you ever get the chance to go to Montreal to check out a hockey game, absolutely do that. It is really a good time, and they do it right. Just worth checking out for sure. Whether it's your team playing or not, you'll have a good time. So highly recommend doing that. So it's a brand new channel. I've just been at this since late December. And if you're into collectibles or enjoy that type of thing, I'd encourage you to like and subscribe so you can see and keep updated on what we're posting here. And I'm just getting rolling, so there's lots I'm going to still talk about and get going on. But you know, I get into rock and roll items and rock and roll memorabilia, sports memorabilia. Is new for me, but I'm getting into that. Antiques and pop culture, vintage records and instruments. I'm a guitar player, so there's lots of stuff on that as well. And if you're into any of that type of stuff, you know, love you to hang around and keep up with the channel. So like and subscribe. That's cool, Vintage Collectibles. Thanks a lot for joining us today, and keep on collecting.